Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. ZED. You are listening to ZED on the AIC. Drive time. Well, is it drive time on a Saturday when everybody's sleeping? Come on, guys. Wake up. If I'm sick, I got a runny nose, and I'm awake and smiling, then here my producer has been kind enough to bring some notes to me. Well, he forgot to bring my glasses because the glasses I'm wearing are sunglasses because today I saw a bit of sunshine out there and I got a little bit excited, so I took my sunglasses out. I put my hat on. I want to take that off so you can identify me and see that what you see on my intro page is what you get right now while I'm in the studio getting organized. Of course, if I was at the BBC, half an hour before, 40 people would be surrounded around me, doing the program brief, telling me, do this, do that, and that's how they do it over there. Well, maybe not 40, but at least 20, but maybe even 10. But here, you walk into the studio, and there's nobody here. Your producer is telling you, you've got 20 seconds, you've got 19 seconds, and then he'll tell you, every 2 seconds he tells you how many seconds you've got. He doesn't check your hair, he doesn't check your eyelashes, he doesn't check your makeup, nothing of the sort. So you come into the studio, your woolly hat is on, your sunglasses are on, and then he doesn't even tell you that these are the wrong glasses, you know. But here, that's how it goes. We take the rough with the smooth, and we get on with it. So what is the Assets in the Community show about on Saturdays? What is it about? Well, it is about what it says, assets in the community. So if you are an asset in the community, then I want you to put your hand up. Or if you know an asset in the community, then put your hand up and let me know. Now, always when I come into the studio with my glasses on, there's one particular gentleman, he wakes up and he tells me that, oh, Zed, you've got your glasses on. Hamza Bodania, wa alaikum salam to you as well. Hamza, you are one of the crazy assets in the community, waking up first thing in the morning like me. Now tell everybody, every day on Monday to Friday, the best time of the day is Fajr time. You wake up at Fajr, and after that, you get all your work done that needs to be done throughout the day. And within 2 hours, your day is done and dusted, because that is when all your positiveness comes out of you after you read the Fajr Salah. Hamza, do you agree with me or do you disagree with me? Of course, Hamza, I know you'll be just grinning and laughing. And see, there's messages coming here on my phone already. So I can switch on, he says. Fred from South Africa, he says, can I switch on? Well, my producer here has to send me the link on the tune-in so I can tell Fred how he has to switch on onto this frequency here. If you're in South Africa, you can listen in, and I'm going to tell Fred. So my producer, I'm going to instruct him, and this is how fast he works. As soon as I tell him, within the next 5 seconds, he's going to send me the link to forward to Fred in South Africa. So here, when you're in the Ramadan radio, Ramadan special studio, you have to be multifaceted and multi-skilled. So he's got his 4K camera and he's telling me that, Zed, do your nose. That's what he's telling me, right? And we've had our first guest walk in this morning. That's great. Then give me a break. Brother, please sit down here. And your mic has to be 32 millimeters away from where you are speaking. Just look at mine. Have you brought a tape measure with you, brother? No? All right. I will tell you when it's 32 millimeters. Okay, here we are. Now, my producer is going to bring my glasses out of my pocket, and that's how it works here. At the BBC, your glasses are ready for you on the table, right? You look super cool in the glasses, Zed. Where can I get a pair? You should do a sunglasses giveaway so we can look cool like you, too. Right, I need to order these glasses. Maybe a couple of thousand will do. Naim Omarji, Assalamu alaikum, Brother Zed, looking cool as ever with the sunglasses. You wait till that other brother, Mr. Khan, Citizen Khan, comes along and he says, get those glasses off. What are you wearing glasses for? There's no sun outside there. That's what he does. And here, you know, assets in the community is all about the good people that we have in the community who are doing a lot of wonderful work. In fact, in every city, we have those assets who lay the foundations for a better community for tomorrow. Salams, Brother Zed, you can't come an hour late. Do you have a letter why you are late? Well, if you read the intro for assets in the community, Saturdays, it starts at 10:04. During the week, we start at 9:04 to catch those on the school run on the way back from school. Not on the way there because it's too early. And MG Muhammad Fahim joined. Muhammad Fahim has got a database of 547 people on his WhatsApp, I think. So Muhammad, I want you to link everybody with this program, and he's also an asset in the community. Naeem Omaji is an asset to his community. Of course he is, yeah. Naeem Omaji, for those of you who don't know him, he has a code name also, which I'm not going to say his code name because it would be against the GDPR rules of the radio studio here at Ramadan Radio. So guys, keep on coming those, let's have those texts back on because our producer is now under pressure today because we have messages coming on the Facebook. Here, there's a message here from yesterday which was quite interesting one. Best advice I can give any parents is threaten them with that as you as parents would run away from home. What kind of message is that? On a Saturday morning giving me these riddle kind of messages on a Saturday morning when I'm just recovering from all sorts of ailments. Right, put the other message on. There's an interesting one here. We're going to review quickly about yesterday's programs, right? Like the halal food documentary. It was like a documentary, wasn't it? That program last night, if you were listening to it. Jazakallah khair for discussing this important topic. It baffles me when all Muslims don't insist on buying non-stun halal when the exemption is already in place for Muslims and Jews. Of course, this is a huge topic that requires a lot of understanding and education in our community. Look at this long text message. I'm going to ask the brother who is joining me in the studio today. First, he's going to introduce himself so all of you can write his name in your database, followed by maybe we can track him down as well and get you his contact details. That's if you wish to continue to speak to him later on. So, brother, first of all, I'd like to welcome you to the Ramadan special studio. Remember the 32 millimeter rule? Yeah. 32 millimeters at the moment. At the moment it's like 100 millimeters, right? So please come close, engage with the mic, get friendly with the mic, make that mic part of you, as if you and the mic are one entity. Let's have a go.
We're now besties, me and this mic.
Exactly. So tell all the listeners out there, name, location, rank, location, you can miss it out because everybody knows that we are here in the studio on 207 Evington Road, LE12QN.
Yep, my name's Asif. What more do you want to know?
Asif, did you know that in Leicester there's already 947 guys with the name of Asif?
Yeah.
So you're not giving them much of a chance to find you. So please tell them your middle name and your last name.
Asif Adam Musa. How's that?
That is wonderful. That is like a AAD, right? Asif Adam Musa. So if you can all remember that, it's an easy one to remember because Adam you're never going to forget and Musa you're never going to forget. And of course, both of these names are unique, aren't they? Right?
They are.
What's the relationship of these names? How do they connect with the lineage of all the beautiful prophets that came before us?
I've been blessed with 2 prophet names in my full name. So
prophetic names, mashallah. Yeah. That is wonderful, That's very pleasing to hear. Now, Asif, first of all, before we go on with this program, we're going to ask you to read this particular topic from last night's program. It's quite interesting. So if you can read this, and we're going to get back to Asif Musa, what he does in the community, and then we're going to carry on with the assets in the community subjects. In the day, we're going to have Dr. Musharraf Hussain. Those of you who don't know Dr. Musharraf Hussain, I suggest you Google him and you'll read up about him. He's from Nottingham and he does a lot of wonderful things in the community. And thereafter, we're also going to talk to Maqsood Ahmed. You can Google him as well. He does a lot of work with the government on various different matters concerning the Muslim community. So, Asif, let's start with this particular message from yesterday.
You want me to read it out?
Yes, read it out, because it's a long one. I'm giving it to you, so you can have a rest.
So it says, Salams, so glad that you are talking about halal and tayyab meat. Sadly, the Muslim community loves its meat. Why aren't we questioning the cruelty that is inflicted on the animals we consume to bring them as cheap commodities to our dinner plates? Why aren't we calling for better animal welfare? Let's urge all our brothers and sisters to cut down on meat consumption and refuse to buy meat that hasn't been ethically sourced. It isn't sufficient to have HMC. Animals have a right to be treated with compassion, and that compassion is missing from the mass-produced, factory-farmed system. Surely we're accountable for this. May Allah forgive us.
Of course, this is a very, very deep subject, because the brother who was speaking on it, you could see how passionate he was. Did you listen to that program last night?
I didn't hear it.
He was very, very passionate and emotional, and how he felt. And he told us many a story to tell us that the Prophet ﷺ, he was not a compulsive meat eater, and one of the very important facts, even my producer missed out on this, is that he's smiling and laughing because he's a very big barbecue foodie, right? These foodies, you know, they just don't know organic food, vegetarian food, and there's so many good foods out there. And he was telling us that, what is a percentage of Muslims in this country, approximately? Take a guess, Asif.
10%?
No, Asif, you just 50% out, you know, it's 5%,
5%.
right? 5% used to be 3%, now is up to 5%. And what consumption do they have of the total meat consumed in this country, red meat?
30%.
Very close, Asif, you're getting better. As the program is flowing, you are getting better and better with your stats, right? 26%, he said, right? And even I was in bed recovering, my memory banks were working very well. I was able to ingress everything he was telling me, and I'm here today reporting it back to all of you out there. Of course, those of you who are not listening in, then this is a good fact. You're listening to me, ZED, on the Assets in the Community program on Ramadan special on EAVA 102.5 FM. So Asif, I hope you've told all your database of 442 people that you are on today.
We've told everybody.
Everybody. All 442 of them?
443.
MashaAllah, that is good, you know, because sometimes...
You were a little bit out on that.
I'm only a little bit out, but that's good, you know. By the way, he said 43%. Yeah, 43%, not 42. So guys, the poultry, the white meat, what is the consumption of the total UK in relation to what the Muslims are consuming? What percentage?
I'm guessing around, 45%?
Very close, Asif. You know what, somehow I don't believe that you were not listening to this program, because you were listening to that program last night, because your estimations are pretty much on the ball. It's about 40%.
Yeah.
40%, Asif. Can you believe that? Of poultry consumed in this country is by Muslims. Like, don't Muslims know about vegan, about organic? Don't they know about these things?
Crazy. I was vegan for 1 year.
Yeah?
Yeah. And it was challenging, but it was a really good experience.
Well, I can see it did you a lot of good, right? Because that is a very slim body, right? And you was explaining to us about the health impact on red meat, about the strokes and about arteries being blocked and about all kind of things. A lot of good information yesterday, right? So Naeem Omaji, I want you to start, look at all your database and start engaging everybody that you know. Just here, Naeem Omaji has about 800 people on his database, right? And not one of them he has connected with us, right? So press the like button and connect us with at least 799 of those 800 name, right? So we can have a very interactive discussion here this morning, because Saturday mornings, what does everybody do, Asif?
They're in bed.
They're in bed, right? And they are losing precious, valuable time, aren't they? While you and I, we make an effort, we wake up, we are in action, right? So you can't be an asset in the community if you're still sleeping. So wake up and show us that you are also an asset in the community. I'll tell you what, guys, even if you're listening in to this program, you are an asset in the community, right? So Dr. Musharraf is calling me. So I'm going to ask my producer to take this call here. He's going to come here in the office. You can pass the phone to him. And I've clicked him on. So if you can pass it on. Dr. Musharraf, he's waiting for us to call him. So my producer is going to speak to him and have an engagement with him at the moment on the phone. So Dr. Musharraf, as I told you, like, guys, I want you to go on the Google and read about him, Dr. Musharraf Hussain from the Nottingham Institute, Karima Institute. So if those of you who are Googling, there will be many, many Hussains out there. So please connect with him and you can see what he's doing. It will make my job easier, Asif, because he's a hard, big, long CV. This guy is hot. Have you heard of him before?
I have not.
Not at all?
No.
Well, Asif, first of all, we'll come to him because importance is for us to discuss what you do in Leicester, because I know that Asif, you get engaged with a lot of good projects in the city, don't you?
I do.
So let's run through some of the projects that you are involved with in the city. And of course, everybody can be an asset in the community. What it's all about, Asif, is the time that we give to each other, the time we give to the people outside in the community, because the theme on the radio, do you know what the theme is, Asif?
No.
Go on. The theme is MAD. Right? MAD.
Mad.
M-A-D, MAD. Now, what is MAD all about?
Go on.
Make a difference, Asif.
Make a difference.
You see that my mic, what about Asif's mic? You're picking on my mic. Asif's is alright?
You see, Zed.
You see how he turned my
Mine
mic
was
around?
perfect.
Yeah, your mic, yes, it looks more perfect than mine. And I'm the presenter, you know. You think that
You
I
should be used to
should,
this
I should
stuff.
have the best mic, right? It's good now.
You worn it out from
Yeah.
when you're talking.
So here we have Fajal Patel. Right, Fajal Patel, I need you to connect us all with all your database. Asif, have you got a lot of your family are woken up, have they?
They're woken up.
Your
They're
children
listening.
woken up?
Yeah, they're listening.
MashaAllah. So I want all Asif's family to connect with us and
Send us a message.
send us a message and prove to us that you've woken up. And if you don't have any money to put in the telephone box, then you can use your mobile phone and send us a text on 07450925084. And you can even ring in 0116-212-9324 and talk to your dad. And he'll be pleased to talk to you, right?
Yeah,
tell you your Saturday morning chores at home.
Yeah.
How's that, Asif?
Yeah, they give us a call.
Yeah,
Get you
why
on the
not?
radio.
That's right. And
And also, they should have started their homework by now.
of course, you know, Asif, please don't be thinking about what you're going to be having iftar. I need your total concentration now, right?
I'm with you. And it's
So-
not meat, by the way.
It's not meat.
No.
Definitely. That sounds good. Now, Asif, tell us some of the projects you've been doing in the community, the years that I've known you. I know that you are working with the schools a lot and doing a lot of work in a voluntary capacity for them. So just run us through some of the projects that you have been doing.
Well, you'll have heard about some of the stuff we've done with the charities around the Walk Up Kilimanjaro last year, raising some funds for Healing Little Hearts. But I do quite a bit of work with the schools. So my kids go to Linden Primary School. So I do some work with them. I've become a parent governor there. And I do some voluntary work there as well. So that's actually, over the last couple of years, got more and more involved. I did some work with Leicester Islamic Academy before then. And actually, I've decided to take a change in career and become a teacher myself. So in September, alhamdulillah, I'll be starting a teacher training course at Leicester Uni.
Now, Asif, what inspired you to do this teacher's training course? Because in my time as a parent governor at the Madni High School, a lot of young teachers who had done their PSG. So any young person out there who wants to pursue a career in teaching, what is the route that they have to follow?
Well, they make it sound difficult, but actually it's not. It's fairly straightforward. And you know, if you've got a degree, then you can easily do their PGCE. So there's various routes. So you can do a course with Uni of Leicester, or you can actually do a course via one of the schools. So there's lots and lots of schools doing what they call a SCIT course, which is school-centered teacher training. So you go basically and do, from day one, you're in the classroom, you're observing what the teachers are doing, and for one day a week you have some theory training. So that works very, very well because you get interaction with the classrooms the whole way through your course. So that's really good to do as well.
Of course, Asif, what importantly I want to discuss with you is that a lot of people who get into the teaching profession, they all over, you've been in the schools involved as a parent governor, and now it's easier for you because you've seen the structure of a school.
Yeah.
Right? So isn't it a good idea that we create visits to schools for would-be people who want to become teachers?
Yeah, absolutely.
In primary schools, in nursery schools, even in secondary schools. You know,
if anybody is interested in doing anything to do with schools, then if you contact your nearest school or any school that you've got an interest in, they'll happily take volunteers.
well, I was thinking of getting them to contact you, Asif.
They're more than welcome to contact me, but the schools will bite your hand off. They love having volunteers in, and it's very easy for them to find things for volunteers to do.
So all of your parents listening out there, if you have your children who have finished their A-levels and they're going on to university, it's really great for them to go to a school, whether it's a nursery, primary, secondary, university. This is the roadmap of education in this country and in most countries worldwide, to get a feel, an experience of what schooling is all about, isn't it?
Absolutely right. And you know, for me, it was a matter of interest because my kids went to that school. So I thought, well, I'd like to know what it's like from the inside. And even if you can offer, you know, half a day a week, 1 day a week, whatever you can offer to them, they'll be really grateful to take the help from you. And they always find things, whether it's primary or secondary, they look at your strengths, they look at what skill set you have, but they'll get you in there and working with the kids. And it's a real eye-opener because you get to see what the children today are being taught in schools, how they're being taught, what the culture is like in schools. And you've got to remember, these kids are going to grow up and become adults. These are our future. So it's so important that we take a part right now to make sure that we shape that future to the way that we want it to be. So whether that's to do with eating meat or whether that's to do with, you know, just being kind to each other, or to understand what pressures kids are under, whether it's to do with things like social media, mobile phones, or bullying, whatever it is, you'll get a flavour for that just by being present in the school. Because when you're there for a whole day, they can't hide those things away from you. When you've got stats, you've got figures in front of you on a piece of paper that the government's published, you can make statistics, say whatever you want to say. But when you're in there, you get a real flavour for what's actually going on in that school. And I'd recommend it to anybody, whether you did it regularly or whether you just did it as a one-off, whether you did it for a week, whatever you do, just get in there and see what the kids are doing these days. Things change from when we were at school. And, you know, I'm 45 now, which is a pretty late time to be taking a career change. But it's never too late to go in there and have a look at what people are doing, even if it's for a short period of time. So I'd recommend it to anybody.
So guys, that's a message to all of you out there, that if at the age of 45, Asif Musa has taken a deep decision, a career change, and a game changer actually, and he can do it, then anyone can do it. And it's easier if you start this journey at an early stage of your life, when you leave university with your respective degree and you want to pursue a career in teaching. Now, one of the things, very important things he mentioned was that his work as a parent governor, and this gives a real insight to you, doesn't it, about school life?
Yeah, it's very interesting because when you go in as a volunteer, you get to see the day-to-day running of the school. You get a lot of interaction with the kids. But when you are a parent governor, you get to see different things. So you get to see, you know, the budgets. You get to see what issues the school is facing on a more management level. So you get a really different kind of view about the school. You see the challenges. You think, you know, why is this the way it is? And actually, you can bring that to the table. You can ask the questions. You can make sure that your voice is heard, but you represent. So as a parent governor, I represent the parents of the school. So if anybody has got any concerns, they can bring it to me, and I can raise it at the highest level. And the headmaster or the head teacher of the school is answerable to the governing body. So they are accountable to address those concerns, and they're minuted and they're published on the website so everybody can look at it. It's very, very transparent. So so it's a really interesting place to be. And all schools have parent governors. So anybody who's a parent at school, or they take lay governors, so anybody that's interested in doing that kind of input, you know, this is giving something back to the community. You can give your skills, whether that's financial skills, whether it's, you know, being a plumber or you know, whatever it is, you've always got those skills to give back to the community. And doing that, you know, it's a non-paid work and it takes up time, But this is, like you say, making a difference to the school and to the community and to the children of that school, making their lives better.
Of course, anybody out there in any city, anywhere in the world, any town, city, village, gives his time out as a volunteer is an asset in the community, right?
Absolutely right.
Because
The biggest contribution you can give is your time.
time, yeah, it's the most precious thing you can do in your journey of life is give your time, because every day I remind everybody now. Brother Yusuf Chambers has joined us. Salam Zed, good to see you, looking so fresh today. You know, Yusuf, I'm just like, I have to do the job and I'll be back in my bed again, right? Recovering. But this morning I was picking the phone up to ring Brother Yusuf. I said, Brother Yusuf, please, can I request kindly that you come and do this program today for me? And I was even saying that I'll come in and see how I go. And if I don't feel good, then the second half he will continue. Zabunisa Sheikh, salams to you. Zabunisa, that is my daughter there.
Oh, okay.
So you see now I'm inspired even more that my daughter has woken up. She's woken up and she's listening. The education system in the UK has been underfunded by successive government. It is now a mess. Thoughts? What are your thoughts on that, Asif? Now I'll give him a good answer, but don't give him a bad answer because he'll fall back to sleep again.
No, it's a valid point, and you're right. The education system in the UK, every government is making cuts, and they're trying to become more efficient. And you see it even in the schools now. The teaching assistant roles are being cut. They're trying to work with as minimal staff as possible. So you see this all the time, and there are big challenges being faced by the schools. What can I say? That's how it is, and the best way you can address this is to deal with the politicians and look for better funding for the schools.
Well, a lot of this funding, it comes from national government, not local government. So we can bring this point to the politicians that are going to be appearing on Radio Ramadan and discuss this with them in some detail. But, they give us politician answers. And then the listeners are complaining and they're never satisfied. So Ahmed Moravia, he is an asset in the community. Do you know this man?
I don't.
This guy looks after 1,000 plus kids at football. And again, volunteer. He's got a team of 30 that are with him, and they're doing an absolute great job. Here we have Adil Rauf. Assalamu alaikum, audience is growing. You are doing an amazing job, and community will surely benefit from your initiative. Now, Adil, I know Adil here. He's in a country which is official population is 180 million, but when I counted, I scored it to be about 200 million. So Adil, just look at your stats. If you connect with all of them there, we are going to be overloaded here with messages. So start connecting with them and tell them to talk to us about what they are doing in their country with their education system. Because, the world over, the education system follows the pattern of what the British had set in many, many countries. But some countries have exceeded the education system that the British had set up in terms of capacity building, individuals' capabilities. Now, we don't do that here. We are strictly subjective and curriculum based, right? Yeah. Whereas in a smaller classroom, if you had a classroom of 25 students and you capacity build each individual for his respective skill set, imagine what the results would be. Asif, can you imagine? Just give that a thought.
Yeah, it's a good thought.
Yeah, but of course, if you have 500 kids in a school, you couldn't do that.
No, it's difficult, and class sizes are one of the biggest challenges. So,
Adil, share us your thoughts on this particular matter. And what I will say, my solution to this is that please, all the parents, become interactive and start sharing with your children, and you do the capacity building with your respective children, right? Is that important or not?
That's absolutely right.
Yeah, so this is what I would like to pursue, is that all parents this year, this Ramadan, make dua and start capacity building your children to advance them in this wonderful society we have out there.
Well, the best progress that your child can make is through the work you do with them at home. And this is the difficulty, and you see it a lot in the classroom, is the ones that get a lot of support at home. don't progress as well as the ones that get that support at home. So you know it's really important to make time to spend that time with your kids at home, and as you say, capacity build them.
Well, here, this is the word I would like you to press upon with brother there. He sent a message there. If you'd like to read that out.
Schools are run by thought police. What you teach children or not, as the case may be, is prescribed by government. There is no longer freedom of education or speech. Thoughts?
Well, my thoughts are, Asif, you are the government in your house, right? Capacity building the children in their informative years is very important, isn't it?
It's very important. And, you know, you give them those opinions and the freedom of thought at your own house, as you say, regardless of what they teach and what they learn in the outside world.
Right, my producer tells me we've got 6 seconds to go, right? And he always drops this one on me with sign language. And we're going to join you after this break. Jazakallah khair. Asif, how was that?
Yeah, was that right?
Yeah, good. Yeah, you did very well. Well done. So Be a little bit mad. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Brothers and sisters, it's good that you've joined us this morning on a Saturday morning. All of you who are awake, a big thumbs up for you. You are the brave ones. These are the assets in the community who wake up, right? So we're here on the second half of our program, and with me today is an esteemed guest, Asif Musa. He's an asset in the community. Earlier on, we mentioned to you about his work in the schools, all the good work that he's doing. MashaAllah, Asif, I hope that all the youngsters out there listening in will be inspired and they'll connect with us to connect with you, so you can inspire them even further. And that's what it's all about here, is that we look out for each other. Now, Asif, yesterday, you had a very interesting day, 2 days ago.
2 days ago, yes, yeah? That's right.
So just run us briefly through that journey that you had. It's the first time you experienced a journey like that, didn't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Share with the whole wide world, all 7.8 billion of them right now.
Wow, now you've got me nervous. So on Thursday, we went down to London. So myself, my siblings, my parents, and my niece. So we went down to London and took a trip to Buckingham Palace. So I was very proud to see my sister, Mahmouda Duke, receiving an MBE. She was on the New Year's honours list, and she received the MBE on Thursday. Was awarded that by Prince William, the Duke of Cambridge. So we went down the day before, did our iftar down in London, and then Thursday morning went down to the palace. Which was an incredible experience, absolutely incredible. We, to actually get to drive into Buckingham Palace, past all the security, past all the guards, through the main entrance into the courtyard. Even the taxi drivers that took us were, they felt so honoured, and it was such a special occasion. They'd been driving taxi for 25 years in London and never been past the gates of Buckingham Palace. So they were...
One of the listeners is asking, did you take any pictures?
Well, we did take some pictures, but there's a point where you're not allowed to take any more pictures, and you have to, give your phones up. You have to put them in the cloakrooms, and you're not allowed to take any from there. If you get your phone out, then you just get asked to put it away. But when we're on the way out in the courtyard on the outdoors, you're allowed to take lots and lots of photos. So we did get quite a few. And also, obviously, then there's the official photos and the official videos that they want you to spend a fortune buying as well. So that we've got lots and lots of footage. So we'll be sharing that when we can. Of
course, do share them. And our producer here, he likes the social media to know. He likes to keep the world informed of what our listeners are up to and what they're doing. And you can send them here at that email address, studio@ramadan.fm. Of course, all of you who've got a question or two to ask Asif, you can call in on 0116-212-9324, and you can even text us on... I'll let you read that text number, Asif. I need you to get into this now.
It is 07450 925 084. So text us with your thoughts, any questions, anything you want.
Yeah. He's got another message there on the Facebook, Asif, if you can read that.
Yeah.
See how I leave you to read all the long ones?
I see that, yeah. I've twigged onto that, Zed.
Yeah.
It's a good trick. So this is from Adil Rauf, who says, a lot of work is being done here in Pakistan on capacity building, and we all, as parents, need to involve and make sure kids, when they come home, we are involved completely with what they are learning from school. Also, we need to have interactive tech-supported classrooms so that kids are fully involved.
Of course, on Sunday morning, we have a program dedicated to education, to alleviation of poverty. On Sunday, tune in. This program is going to be about 10 o'clock in the morning. This program is due to the time zones in these countries like India, Bangladesh, Pakistan. They have similar education facilities and poverty and so on. So we have another message here. You can read this one as well.
Yeah, sure. This says, Zed, wishing you and your team all the best with your radio, and all the team are aiming for during the month of Ramadan. Or Ramadan Mubarak to all.
Of course, it's not my radio, it's our radio. Here on the Radio Ramadan, it's we don't use the word your or I. We always use we and our. Is that good?
That's good. That's very good. And it's right, because we are a community and we support each other, and this is all for us.
Of course, that's very, very clear. That's very clear. Now, now we're going to move on. We're going to come back to your trip. I hope that you will be joining us also during the week, and we can profile this particular trip in some detail. And you could literally sort of write a little bit of a book about it, couldn't you?
Yeah, I really could.
Short book.
Maybe a short story, yeah.
A trip to Buckingham Palace, and get your children involved in there as well.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
We could share this with the people on the social media. Like, how about we give this project to your children as well, so they can all be interactive in this project?
Yeah, I'm sure they would love that. They would love that.
That's it. Asif, let's make this our project, right? And I know it's taking the limelight away from the actual reason you went there, but why not?
Why not?
Let's all share in that trip of yours.
Absolutely. Well, as my sister says, she was awarded an MBE, but she says it's our MBE. This, we're representative.
Our like
the
mine as well.
Community. Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
our whole community.
And the radio as well.
And the radio as well.
Mashallah. Here we've got a call come in, so somebody's calling in. Let's take this call. See, a producer, he goes through the vetting procedure before he takes this call. But while he's busy doing all the security clearance work on that telephone call, I'm going to share with everybody this particular majestic Quran. Right, guys? I want you to look at this in some detail, because this particular Quran is very, very special. Like all of them are special, but this particular one is some very, very serious effort. So here we come with many glasses in the studio, Brother Asif.
Yeah, I see that.
We change them to suit the size of the lettering, So the majestic Quran combines the eloquence of Allah's words with the rhythm and liveliness of controversial plain English. So this is what this one is all about. So if our producer can put this Quran, he's busy putting my glasses change on the screen, and it's because it's slow. Yeah, put this call through. He's done with the security clearance. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I recognize this voice, right? My voice recognition system tells me that it's my dear friend, Brother Musharraf Hussain.
That's right, yeah.
Assalamu alaikum.
In the studio here, I have Brother Asif Musa, and no doubt he'll have a question or two for you as well, Brother Musharraf. And as you are far away from us, and we have been highlighting the wonderful, majestic Quran, and this is the topic we'd like to discuss with you. And
Yes.
fire away, as they say.
Well, I've been a teacher of the majestic Quran for more than 45 years, alhamdulillah. And my aim has always been to present the message of the Quran. And what I've found through, the translations is that they're all done in old language. Of course, they would have been, because in 1930, classical English, the best English was actually the King James English, particularly for religious writing. Certainly would be regarded as one of the peak of any kind of writing. So naturally, Muslim translators like Marmaduke Pickthall and Abdullah Yusuf Ali all wanted to imitate that style, which was obviously inimical, beautiful, and undoubtedly best of its time. However, in 2020 and in 21st century, in the digital age, in the West, that language is no longer accepted or read. Even people don't want to. Even the millennials, and never mind the Z generation, would not want to.
I hope
that generation isn't your generation.
You got me worried there.
You've got a whole generation named after you, Zed.
Yeah, you got me worried there, Dr. Musharraf,
Yes, the Z generation as well. This is the 21st, digital ones. The young, the people under the 20s, they wouldn't want to read that kind of language anyway. But one of the other big problems with our other translations has been the presentation. You see, the Quran was revealed as a story, as divine directives, and in many places actually very powerful speeches of Allah. Very powerful speeches, sometimes very powerful sceneries of beatific vision of the paradise is presented, and the horrors and the terrors of hell are presented in a very vivid and in a striking language. And when you present them as separate lines, as though this is some kind of poetry, it loses its impact. So what I've done is, so first thing was using plain, modern, contemporary English. Second was trying to put them together as passages, narrative, that actually makes sense. And as we read, we read passages and stories in form of passages and sections. So I did that. And thirdly, I gave them headings. So now you have very clear headings. So on a page you'll find 3, 4 headings, and you can follow what you are reading. And then I also worked hard on looking at each chapter. Generally when you read ZED, when you read, I'm now referring to you, okay? When you read the Quran, many people say, it just doesn't make sense. It's talking about one thing one moment and then whizzing off to another the next moment. And it goes off tangents, it digresses, it just doesn't seem to be flowing. And of course, the way it's been presented, it seems like that, but of course it isn't. That's not true. There is a very clear scheme and a very clear structure to Quranic surahs. And each surah has a very clear central theme. That's quite a well-accepted notion amongst even classical mufassirin as well. So what I did was I identified in each surah the central theme and showed from beginning to end how that flows. So there's a coherence. Even when there are big digressions, you can now begin to see, why is the Quran digressing? But let me just give you one example of this digression. Is in Surah An-Nur. Surah An-Nur is a wonderful surah which gives us 10 powerful laws and rules about how to live a pure life. What I mean by pure life, particularly social life that is free from sexual impurities and sexual perversities, actually. It opens with a very powerful rule about adultery, how this is to be punished, then about slandering, and so on. And it mentions 6 laws of how to live this pure life that really makes your mind free of the freedom from sexual craziness that can overtake people. And then after mentioning these 6 very powerful rules of social life that give you purity, it then goes on to Allahu nuru samawati wal ard mathalu nurihi kamishkatin fiha misbah, and continues for nearly 2 long pages about something. You say, well, he was just giving 6 legal rules, and now what is it? It's gone into a different mode completely, into a spiritual realm. And then it comes back again at the end with another 4 rules of how you must knock on doors before you enter in anybody. You must seek permission. And with regard to the Prophet, if you are to leave his gathering and his meetings, you must seek from him as well before you leave, and so on. And so you wonder what has happened in the middle, that big digression. And of course what the Quran is doing is very clearly saying, well, listen, what are these legal principles and laws without the mighty Lord, without the Allahu nuru samawati wal ard, without the light of Allah? In other words, it's actually basing law on spiritual relationship with Allah, saying that the power comes from Allah. So what I'm saying is, the way I've divided, and put section headings now makes the reader clearly understand, why there are these digressions, how does it flow. So, those are some of the outstanding sort of features and benefits of the Majestic Quran. And alhamdulillah, we're getting, I think we've sold more than 14,000 in less than a year, without any proper sort of marketing.
In the UK?
Worldwide. Worldwide. We're on Amazon, so we're getting from as far afield from Indonesia, America, Canada, everywhere. Alhamdulillah. And the response I'm getting from readers is just amazing. Many of them say.
How is this whole project funded then? Because I imagine it's quite a few number of years it takes.
Well,
Alhamdulillah,
I've been, yes, at the Creamy Institute, which is our organization, we run DAVA projects here. We run a community radio station as well, the Dawn. We also, in fact, we were one of the first ones to be given that license by the Ofcom. We also have trust building projects, and we run a full-time primary school, nurseries. So we have lots of projects, alhamdulillah. But how is this particular project funded? Well, about 5 years ago, when I decided that really I've got to help my students, I can't tolerate this nonsense any further, that young people are struggling to even read the Book of Allah. Yet, we have 50% of our young people are graduates from the world's best university, world's first-class educational system, that is the British education system. From that, A-levels and GCSEs, 100% almost, So why are they struggling? And they don't want to come near it. It's because we haven't presented the Book of Allah as it ought to be, in the language that they are used to.
They understand. Well, this is an age-old discussion we have in the city of Leicester amongst many people in the community, that all our children are learning to read the Quran in Arabic in madrasas and in their mosques and various different, even at home, and yet their understanding of it is not as clear and fluent as it should be. So I'm...
So that is, it's really wonderful to see that, we have hundreds, thousands of fathers and young people, almost, I can almost say 90% of Muslim children will, alhamdulillah, learn how to read
Now,
Arabic.
Asif Musa is here with me in the studio. You have children now. How old are they, Asif?
They're 10 and 11.
And do you teach them the Quran in Arabic?
In Arabic, yes.
Yeah, and
So this is wonderful, but I think the Quran says, الَّذِينَ آتَيْنَاهُمُ الْكِتَابَ يَتْلُونَهُ حَقَّ تِلَاوَتِهِ. The people to whom we gave this book read it as it ought to be read. Now, many of us think that this ought to be read, حَقَّ تِلَاوَتِهِ, is just reading it beautifully with tajweed and tartil and making sure, we read it with the received pronunciation, okay? Which is fine. But that is not really reading the Quran. That is recitation. And the study of the Quran and tafakkur in the Quran, which is, the real purpose of it, is actually to understand its meanings. It's just like saying that to you. I sent you an email, and in it I gave you some instructions to do this, and when I meet you and I say, did you read my email? You say, yes, I read your email. But I say, you've not done what I asked you to do.
In fact, I read your emails every Friday.
Yeah, so
attentively.
But the fact that you didn't do what you were told to do was because you actually didn't understand it.
Okay, here's a question for you. I've got Asif Musa here who's going to read this particular question from one of the listeners out there.
So one of our listeners saying, Salam, where are these Qurans available to buy? Any shops in Leicester to view and to buy?
Okay. As I said to you, we haven't got a good system of spreading the message distribution yet. But I'd love to if you could have them in your city retreat or somewhere. The Cube have it. We have it on Amazon. We also actually send it, we post it the next day. So our mashallah system of sending it out is excellent. We're getting, we know that it goes out as soon as we get the order. They'll be delivered to you next day. Or within, but there isn't a bookshop at the moment. I'm not sure whether there's a bookshop who holds them in Leicester, but Zed, if you could please let me know any of the bookshops, and we will try to get them to them as well later on.
Yeah, Kitabun, that website also.
Oh yes, Kitabun has it. Kitabun has. Yeah. Kitabun, I think they hold the Quran as well. Yes, they do. Yes.
Yeah, of course, this subject we'll discuss in more detail in the latter programs in Ramadan, and I'll bring this point forward. But the theme is very much for everybody, including myself, is to engage and read and understand the meaning.
Well, I said this example I was going to give you about emails. It's not a joke, actually. It's a very serious one. And we're actually doing exactly that. We're reading like a parrot, without understanding. And our campaign with the Majestic Quran is very simply this, that now move from tilawat to the next stage, which is understanding. From understanding, you will move to the next stage, which is changing your life. And that is the mission of the Quran. The Quran is a book that changes your life, really. But it only can do that if you understand it. And there's two of the reasons why this project is so important. One is that, as I said, our next generation, mashallah, is very literate, and in fact, I'd say 50% are degree holders. It's a very literate generation of ours in the future, and they deserve a book that really presents the meaning and the message of the Quran in a language that is impressive. Secondly, a lot of them are not going to actually turn to our religious institutions, our mosques, or our imams. Let's be honest, they're not going to. But being Muslims, they will want to say, what is Allah saying? What is my Lord saying to me? So they will turn to the Quran. That is another reason why we need to present it in an accessible manner. And by having these sections, these central themes clarified, and in a beautiful, impressive English, I think we can achieve that.
MashaAllah, many of the listeners who are listening in now, I just feel that they're all going to say, look, I need to order one like this, right? What is the cost of one of these majestic Qurans?
On the website, it's 1975, but 1975, but it varies. I think there's some others will be selling it slightly less as well. So so they'll vary. I think there's fewer distributors.
A plain English translation. We are coming now to the end of the program. Dr. Musharraf, we're going to connect with you very soon. A much needed divine guidance, Brother Asif. I'm sure that it will enlighten everybody with all our future generations, right? And educate everyone. All I can say is a must read. What do you say, Asif?
Yeah, I'm very interested to read it. I'll be honest, I've got about 7 translations of the Quran at home, and they all are very difficult to read. And to be honest, to know what to trust as a translation.
I'll tell you, Mr. Dr. Musharraf, what I want to do is I'm going to lend my copy to Asif. If he's already got 7, I'm going to lend him this one, and I just feel it that he's going to read this, and he's going to say after 3 pages, he's going to pick the phone up, or he's going to WhatsApp me, and he's going to say, Zed, I'm going to order one, and I'm going to return your copy, and all I'm going to do, this is how you and I are going to work together on this, right, Dr. Musharraf? The copy that I have, I'm going to repeatedly lend it to people. After Asif Musa, I'm going to lend it to Akil Zikar, and he will do likewise, and this is how we're going to promote and sell this book.
Wonderful.
Right?
Wonderful.
First, you lend it to them.
Yeah.
You let them read 3 pages, and then they'll order one. And that's what we're going to do.
Yes. I mean, my mission, I'm a servant of the Quran. My mission, mashallah, my lifelong mission is I will not take a penny from this book. In fact, I'm putting money into it. And,
right. The program's coming to an end now. We're going to talk more about this in another program. But Dr. Musharraf, you are mad. You are mad. M-A-D. Make a difference. That is the theme of this program. And
Ramadan. Thank you.
Jazakallah khair. We shall talk to you very soon again, my brother.
Thank you very much.
Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers and sisters, we are here now, back again after that little short break, what we call an ad break. And we are here now for the last session with another esteemed guest who's going to join us by telephone. And we'd like to sort of just recap what we were talking about earlier on, about the majestic Quran. So we will have this topic on again during the week. I think it's very interesting to hear all your comments. Sometimes we try to not go off topic, and we need to keep it all positive. So in every subjects that we discuss, there are negatives and there are positives, but we like to keep it all positive here. Fatia Saad has joined us. Jazakallah khair for waking up, Fatia. That's wonderful. After your wonderful iftar yesterday, I'm pleased that you've woken up. So we're going to be talking to Maqsood Ahmed, OBE. What does Maqsood Ahmed do? Well, the question you should be asking me, what does he not do? In fact, he is extremely busy with various different projects, right, in the community. Maqsood Ahmed was appointed as an advisor to the Home Office in the Faith Communities Unit in 2003. One of his primary roles was to engage with all faith communities in faith work. The unit transferred to many communities and local government in May 2006. He is very busy with many different areas of work in the government. So right now he's busy working in the prison sector. If anybody would like to take a guess how many prisoners there are, Muslim prisoners, in the prison system. So come on, let's have a go. First of all, how many prisoners there are total in the prison service? Tell us that, if you know that. If you know the answer to that without Googling, let me know. Take a guess. I like to test you all. So if you'd like to guess, I think he's on call now, Mr. Maqsood Ahmed. So you're going to have to Google and you'll check his CV. Because if I have to go through his CV, I'm going to lose this session totally. Will be done in 30 minutes and then there will be no time for the program. Jazakallah khair for putting that call through to my producer. Good morning. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Jazakallah khair for this telephone call this morning, Brother Maqsood Ahmed. It's wonderful that you're woken up like me. I hope you're lively and energetic like me this morning.
Let me tell you that somebody told me to must mention that I'm on my walk and I'm sitting in a beautiful park. It's so peaceful and tranquil. Come and join me.
I'd love to do that, right? I need to have that walk and get some fresh air. I hope that you're in an area where it's fresh air. You sit down on a bench. You get connected with your smartphone, build up a relationship with your smartphone this morning, and let's you and I talk, right? Look, here's a figure for you now. We're going to go straight into this program. I've told everybody that is on the smartphones or on their laptops, they're going to Google and they're going to learn all about you, Maqsood Ahmed OBE. From 2003, if I go through your list of attainments, we're going to lose our time. So here, the question I ask everybody, how many prisoners, Muslim prisoners in the prison service, right? And they're all firing their answers. Somebody said 14,000, somebody said 85,000 prisoners total, and so on. So they're pressing and guessing, aren't they? So let's put them right. How many Muslim prisoners?
Well, the one who was near to the 14,000, he was the closest because there are approximately 15,000 Muslim brothers and sisters in UK prison. When I say UK, it is England and Wales. We, under the UK remit, Scotland and Ireland doesn't come into it.
Here's another, this is a very interactive program today, and I'm going to enjoin you with all the messages so that you are not sitting in the park on a bench, you are in my lounge talking to all these people, all our listeners out there. 6% of women in prisons. Last year there were 256 Muslim women in prison. That figure is about right, is it?
It is. I think it's an accurate figure getting from the MOJ is always difficult update because by the time you put as a freedom of information request, by the time it comes is about 6 months late. So the last count was 257 when we completed our research on the Muslim women in prison.
So I always tell my learned colleagues in the city of Leicester that the quality of your community is the number of Muslim prisoners in the prison, right, which is hitting a figure of 14% out of the 86,000 that are totally in prison, right? And this reflects on the community in many respects. Now, you've been working in this sector for quite some time, although you are working more on the reconciliation and the reintegration in the community, but I'm like looking at prevention rather than cure.
Okay, I think issue for me to share with my brothers and sisters listening is, are we talking about these ills of the society which has leapt into the Muslim community as well? So why the 200% rise in last 10 years? In my time in prison service, there was only 3,000 Muslim prisoners. This is 2003 I'm talking about. And now we're talking about 15,000. So the population outside that is no more than 3.5 to 4% in the UK, and our population in prison, as you already just mentioned, 14 to 15%, which is quite a sad thing. And I think it's my whinge is that do we, as a society, as a community and community organization, do we talk about this issue? That there is a rise of Muslims in prison, in crime, and in criminal justice system. Now, I think I need to emphasize this is the figure we have only which are recorded at the gate of the prison. And there is a number of others, caution, safe houses, and people on remand outside on the bail. That figure is not available to me. So I think we need to think about and we need to start talking about. And well before, I think I totally agree with you that we need to be talking in the masajid, we need to be talking in our normal life, and also working with our schools to prevent people going into the crime. And the attraction into the crime, easy money, I think that's something we are not talking about. The young people, 17, 18-year-old, driving a Porsche. I think it is a question for you and me as a parents that we need to be asking ourselves that where do they get the money from? So I think issue is that we need to take that incentive away from those children, but we as a society need to do a lot more. Talk about the contemporary issue faced by the young people. And when I say contemporary issue, that's mental illness, drugs, and misuse and abuse, and other crime as well.
Of course, here's another message, reference to the Muslim women in prison, stats provided by MWIP, that's Muslim women in prison, spearheaded by Sister Sophia Bunsi in Bradford.
Yeah, that was our first research, and she was funded and she was employed by the Muslim Hands. So that was only small investigation. We did it in 2 prisons, which followed that we got a partnership with the Barrow Cadbury Trust, and we did a full academically recognized research into all female establishments, which obviously 12 prisons, female prison in the UK. Out of that, 7 prisons we was given access to, and we had a 64 interview and a group session where sisters openly sat with our researcher. And by the way, I need to hasten to add that I would introduce a researcher, but it will be done from female to female. So it wasn't any issue of a gender that where there would be bias that they are exaggerating any issue. And the interview was completely independent. Only person would be present would be a Muslimah sister, Muslim chaplain, who would be helping our researcher. And the researcher happened to be, she wasn't a Muslim as it happened, she was another female researcher we had to hire to do this work and complete this research.
Of course, brothers and sisters, Maqsood Ahmed Obi is a director of program at Nottingham-based international charity called Muslim Hands. He's responsible for all UK projects and poverty alleviation, homeless, rough sleepers, prison settlement, rehabilitation, youth development, women leadership, and so many things that all the different communities are doing all over the country. Here in the Leicester, in the city retreat, we do likewise. But prisons is a very, very special case. And here's another message. I've done case studies on ex-offenders, and the common theme is a void in the lives of predominantly at home. So this is a very debatable comment there, that because the people have a void in their lives predominantly at home, then they become offenders, ex-offenders. So it's a very, very deep subject. Now, what concerns me is one of the horror stories that we heard last year on the radio here, is that a Muslim woman prisoner, due to no fault of her own, she was, I think, from West Yorkshire, she did not speak English, and she was bewildered, disoriented, because not something what she did, but her family had compromised her, and she ended up in prison. And this is a very sad story. So this is just one example. People will be asking 260 female Muslim prisoners in jail, what have they done wrong? People are asking this question. What have they done wrong? Because people start wondering at home that a Muslim woman in prison. So maybe you can delve into that.
I think let me come into it. I think the issue for us is first of all, in the Muslim community, we are in denial that we have this issue with the women, and the number of case studies which come from my visit to the prison, and example you gave in the Yorkshire, and I think issue is sometimes my sister will they will be unknowingly complicit to the male crime. I can only talk what the research tells us, that 70% of those sisters, in some way, they were a victim of domestic violence, and nobody in the family, in the community, in the lawmaker or law implementer listened to them, and they took the law in their hand. That's one kind of category, which is a huge kind of cohort which are in the prison. The one case study I think is important for me to share with the listeners. One 29-year-old woman in Northamptonshire, she went to prison 14 times in 18 months. And when we ask our Muslim chaplain, our mentor, please do find out what is the issue. The issue is when she comes out, the parents doesn't want to know her. Her brethren are into the crime, so she recommit the crime to find a safe kind of roof and shelter and food in the prison. So I think that's where I would invite our listener and Muslim brothers and sisters to think about it. When these people do come out, how do we treat them? Do we keep them a permanent criminal, or we just treat them, give them the second chance because they have served their sentence, whatever the wrongdoing happened, whichever way. So I think issue for us was that how do we make sure that this young 29-year-old daughter like to me doesn't go back to prison, work with the probation, work with the civil social services, work with the local authority, manage to get her one-bedroom flat. And alhamdulillah, and then we furnished the house, mainly second-hand furniture, a single bed. If she was adamant, she didn't want to have a second-hand bed. So that's something, £129. That's what cost for the bed, and total cost to rehabilitate, £400 deposit, £400 first month rent, and then her benefit kicks in. 2.5 years, I thought, that young woman has not gone back to the crime or to the prison. So I think something we need to think. I'm not advocating on behalf of the Muslim man, but I'm advocating on the behalf of the civil society, with the FMO and with other organizations and CB and national and local level. How do we help those people? How do we receive them at the gate of the prison so they don't go back to the offending cycle? And I'm going to use that word, which is a very rude word, to those same drug pusher and pimps and the groomers, and they end up back into the same cycle. They are our assets, they are our daughters, they are our sisters, and the brothers. It applies to the same.
Of course, it's quite heartbreaking. I can't hide my emotion on this particular subject, especially concerning the women, as to how we all in the community can be supportive and understanding on this subject and put a value to preventing them in the first place going into the prison.
Absolutely.
So this is a very, very sad subject this morning for me. And prison support and women's empowerment and living in harmony, the education, the young people, there's so much to do in the community. Sometimes we're wondering about in our lives. Look, you are in the park. Allah has blessed you to be in that situation.
Alhamdulillah.
I'm here. And how often do we ask each other, how do you feel today, my brother? We ask people, how are you today? But do we ever ask each other, how do you feel today? And many messages are coming up on the screen, and one brother is saying that, look, it's a good idea to send them the majestic Quran for them to read. And
I hasten to say that we every year and throughout the year we visiting number of male and female prison, and whatever the request comes from the sister and brother, we try to furnish that. But essentially, that my previous work at the prison service, duty of giving them the Quran and Islamic literature falls on the prison service. That's mandatory, that they will have to give them the prayer mat and the tasbih and
of course, I was referring to the majestic Quran for its ease of understanding. That's what I was.
Indeed, we are working with the Dr. Musharraf Hussain, and we have sent many of those Quran into as per request. And I think the listener need to know that there are people who want to have a different translation. So we respect the author of the translation. So according to their aqidah and according to their liking, but certainly. Majestic Quran is another one which is a very nicely written and made a simple translation.
Today we had a very special man come in the studio to read all the messages. Now he's left me, and I'm having to do them on my own now. So please bear with me. Salam, just letting you know, I ordered 8 copies of the Majestic Quran, 8 for £100. A copy would have cost 20, but I took up the offer and will be handing the Qurans out as Ramadan Eid presents. Jazakallah khair for bringing this to my attention. I've been looking for this for a long time. So this is the kind of a positive response. Now, see when I was very sad about reading about everything, discussing all the issues that you and I have talked about, and now this one has charged my battery up again, because this is an act of sadqa jariyah, right?
Alhamdulillah. And for your information, with the people's donation, with the brothers and sisters donation for the UK program, and also I think I need to say that the brothers and sisters in prison, when they give a sadaqah fitr and whatever their zakat or something, we reinvest back onto them rather than send it abroad. I think we need to look at how do we help them.
Okay, here's another important message. Sister Sophia Bansi is raising £2,000 to support Muslim women prisoners to observe their fast during Ramadan and provide post-release support. Now, sister, now we're moving forward, right? I'm going to also assist in providing these funds from my 1 million contacts out there. So sister, we're going to do this together, right? So you're going to leave us your contact details, and throughout this month of Ramadan, I'm going to organize that and initiate that to happen. So let's work together on this project. See,
Mashallah.
We're moving forward.
She's doing wonderful work in Yorkshire and cross country. This young sister has a lot of energy compared to my age, but mashallah, I have a full kind of commendation for her.
Right. Sister, I'm sorry to cut you in here because we need to move very fast here. In this program, time is short. So we're going to connect with this sister. If you can help us to connect with her, and we're going to organize and ask all our listeners out there that this is a very, very good idea, that these sisters, they need some support, funding, and £2,000 is not a lot of money. So we will, here at the radio, set the pace and organize a donation for this from us in some respects, that we can get going with this, so we can get this money raised very quickly. So it is on a crowdfunding page. They've raised 37%, and 2,000, they've got 750. Is that correct? Yeah? And they need the balance of money. And 29 supporters out of a population of 5% of Muslims in this country. It's not a great deal, is it? Some people will be doing iftars, and their iftar will cost them, for 100 people, they might spend £500, And here, we're only asking for £2,000. Sister Sophia Bansi is raising £2,000 to support Muslim women prisoners to observe their fast during Ramadan and provide post-release support. So this subject is a very, very deep subject. We're going to continue with this another time, Brother Maqsood Ahmed. So no doubt, I'm going to request that you do come and spend some time with us in the studio. And here we are covering so many different topics. It's like doing 12 months of radio in 1 month, 30 days. Are you
Indeed.
up for that?
I'd be delighted to join you whenever you need to come. Ask me to come, inshallah.
MashaAllah. So we are going to arrange.
And finally, before I forget that, we are spending £10,000 from Muslim Hand, that where we are sending a Ramadan pack to the brothers and sisters in 12 prisons, and then followed up. They always request for a proper barfi and mathai from Ambala, so that will be going in the Eid pack as well. So the teams are working very hard on that.
Brother Maqsood Ahmed, did you have to say the name Ambala now? You know those laddus and those Habshi halwa, what it does to me, right? Come on. It's Ramadan on a Saturday.
We're very lucky with Ambala. I have to say that they normally give us about 15% discount, and the package are gone directly dispatched to the different prison as much we order. So we have to be very careful through the security. What we can physically take, we can't.
Brother Maqsood, I told all my Maiman friends that we're not going to be talking about food, no Maiman Akni, no Pakistani biryani, and you've just jumped to desserts by talking about Ambala, right?
Different tradition to have a dessert first and then the main course. So we can start with the dessert first.
Brother Yusuf has said many of these Muslims in prison are reverts. They take shahada in prison, right? Now that's not to go to say that, oh, if you want to become a Muslim, go to prison and take shahada there. No,
absolutely not. I think Brother Yusuf's message is there are people who have a time to reflect while they're in prison, and they read and they sit with a decent imam. We call it Muslim chaplain, and if they come to Islam, we welcome. But the notion, I think I hasten to say that, notion is that we are not there to proselytize and we are not there to convert people, but whoever Allah gives hadayat, whoever Allah gives the invitation to come to Islam, and then it's our job to look after them when they come out.
That's right. I'm really pleased that we've touched this topic, and we shall delve more into this topic. You know, each month, each year, during the month of Ramadan, we are requested to cover so many topics, and this was one of the topics, and we really need to work together on prevention rather than cure.
Inshallah.
And if you can join with us in many organizations in Leicester that we can pursue and push this forward, then we'll be good for it. So on this matter, I will say Jazakallah khair, and I'll allow you to continue for your walk in the park.
Inshallah. And by the way, just a final message, overseas projects are very important to all of us, but the charity begins at home. But Quran say, Atizil Qurba wal Yatama wal Masakin wabna Sabil. Please do not forget the people next door to you and those people in the deprivation, rough sleeper, and homeless. Jazakallah khair on my part.
Jazakallah khair.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam. So that was a wonderful call from Brother Maqsood Ahmed. So a lot of people, they connect with us on from various different fields, right? And my producer in there, in his little office there, is telling us, informing us that we should be closer to the mic, and he's watching me on the 4K camera, and he can count the hair on my head almost, and he tells me about every single blemish on my face, on my head, and this is how attentive he is. It's all called attention to fine detail. We've all got to be attention to fine detail every day. Prison reverts need so much support too. Excellent project, supporting reverts, New Muslim Project, Islamic Foundation in Markfield. Of course, these are all the organizations specializing in this field, and we'll work together with them. So, inshallah, after Ramadan, we should continue with these initiatives. As we say, what after radio? That is another initiative. What after radio? We're going to continue with after radio about the prison and so on. So 3 seconds, 2 seconds. So we'll join you again, and on Monday, after the break, we'll join you. Jazakallah khair. I'll be back after the break. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We are back here now for the final session this morning. Brothers and sisters, have you all gone to sleep again, or are you wide awake out there, right? That was a really interesting topic we had about the prisoners. So we're going to put those text messages back again and share with you. So the time expired logo has got to go off, and we're going to discuss these messages again. So prison reverts need so much support too. Excellent projects supporting reverts, New Muslim Project, Islamic Foundation in Markfield. We're going to have to pick up with that. There are so many things going on in the community, brothers and sisters, that we are not aware of them. So we need to get aware, get to know each other better in the community to see what goes on in our community. Of course, to do that, we're going to have to cut down our time on the smartphone, brothers and sisters. We spend too much time on that wonderful device called the smartphone, right? Let's get back to the days of the dumb phone, which had nothing on it, just buttons to press, right? So sometimes let's have two phones in our pocket, a smart one and a dumb one, and sometimes you switch one off, your number is still on the dumb one, only you will not be able to see all the WhatsApps, Instagrams and Snapchats and all the 100 different mediums of communications that are leaving us all hooked and addicted. Your addictions, your habits, they become your addictions. Reference to Muslim women in prison stats provided by MWIP, that's Muslim Women in Prison, spearheaded by Sophia Bunsey in Bradford. Sophia Bradford, look her up and you'll learn all about the good work that she's doing in this particular field. So I want you all to connect with that particular topic. It's one of the many, many topics that we cover here on the radio. In fact, my producer, what he's beginning to do now, he logs all these topics down that we discuss. Every day we go through many different topics, and he's making a log of every topic that we discuss here. It's not like we are in competition with the BBC, but we like to say that we are responsive to you, the people out there who are listening in, and then we always do as you tell us to do. So here in the station, it's all about we, and it's not about me only. It's about all of us working together and making a better community. Community development is when all of us join hands together and we just exercise the main tenets of humanity. That's what it's all about. You know, it's good humanity when we work all together as a team. You know, when we are born, we're already in the mode of interfaith. So Sophia is a researcher and co-author of the first report into the experiences of Muslim women in British prisoners. She's a founder and coordinator of the Muslim Women in Prison Rehabilitation, a Bradford-based community resettlement program which supports women in rebuilding their lives post-prison, release and back into the community. So, Sophia, just don't be shy. Pick that phone up and give us a call here in Leicester at Radio Ramadan. So for those who don't know the number, I'm going to tell you the number right this minute. Here we have a message. Why should I care of prisoners when I have been a victim of a crime? That's an interesting one. Of course, sometimes people ask me the questions like, my name is ZED. My name is not Zoogle. My name is not Google, that I have all the answers for all of you. But what it is, my brother, forgiveness is all part of our deen and everybody's deen for that matter, that if we look at life like that, then everybody deserves a chance for rehabilitation. And that is the reason, the chances that we're going to be victims of crime is going to be very high, because we are living in a society where crime and many, many other problems are on the increase. The main thing we're going to emphasize is how do we as a community build a better community where everybody has got everybody's back. So now that's where we are coming from. So during this month of Ramadan, let's all work together and be one. That's what it's all about, not only amongst our own communities, but also with other communities. Don't let anybody make differences between us. We need communities to come out of their bubbles and support those who have paid for their crimes. Everyone has a chapter in their lives they don't read out aloud. Of course, there's a lot of psychology in that statement, which I'm going to research some more. That I'm going to read that to you again, if my producer can put that screen back on, and I'm going to read that again. We need communities to come out of their bubbles and support those who have paid for their crimes. Everyone has a chapter in their lives they don't read out aloud. Of course, none of us are perfect. I'm not perfect and you're not perfect, but we do have to work together. That's what we have to do. You know, we have to look out for each other. I'll tell you, yesterday or a couple of days ago, when I was very, very sad to learn that one particular mother, when she was approached by some very good members of the community about her son, that he was 16 years old, an aspiring sportsman, and the mother would just turn around and say, well, let him experience life as a gangster and learn about these issues. They're all part of society. And of course, that is not the right attitude, because what we must say is that we need to prevent these youngsters in our families going astray. Prevention is what it's all about. If we can prevent a problem happening, we won't have to spend time finding a cure for it. So when your child becomes my child and my child becomes your child, then that is the way forward, right? So on this wonderful Saturday morning, the sun is out, so glasses go back on, just to show you that it's a beautiful sunny day out there. So come out and join us. Brother Yusuf, are you still there? Are you sharing this link with your 545,000 followers out there on the Facebook? Is he doing that? Can we check that? If he's doing it, if he's not doing it, then we need to have a word with him, because he's very naughty. He's not supportive enough. So what goes on the rest of the day, Saturday and Sunday here at Radio Ramadan? What goes on here at the studio, 207 Evington Road? For those who do not know where the studio is, it's not far away from where you are right now. It's off the East Park Road. Another message: an excellent national initiative to get faith communities get involved with support ex-offender. The welcome directory.org.uk. So this is very important. So this is a topic that cannot be ignored. Obviously, people sometimes wander away from this kind of a topic, but I think we need to sort of highlight these issues every time to people. Running away is not solve the problem. Some good responses on the Quran, Majestic Quran, because today I'm feeling good because 8 copies were purchased by a listener out there, and he's going to donate them. So I wonder where he's going to donate them. That would be interesting to know, right? In fact, there will be an initiative there where these are available also to the prison authorities, the Majestic Quran, and the more of these that we can sell, the more people can benefit. So my particular copy here, I'm going to lend this one to a brother who was here earlier, and if you all have any access to this, please do buy it or even borrow it from someone. And there are 2 wonderful books here, the Majestic Quran and the 1001 Inventions. Now, if you read the Majestic Quran, then you buy the other book, or you borrow somebody else's if you can't afford it, the 1001 Inventions. Certainly, we're going to leave one at the city retreat for people to come there and enjoy these 2 books. This is excellent idea, the Majestic Quran and the 1001 Inventions. So I'm going to show you this one again for those of you who are at home who missed out on this book, 1001 Inventions. This particular book here at the Radio Ramadan, what we're going to do, Ramadan special on EAVA 1.0 to 5.5 FM, we're going to let you have this book as a prize for all those wonderful students who are reciting and writing some wonderful poems I need to read some wonderful poems with the panel here, and then the winner, we're going to present them with this wonderful book, 1001 Inventions. Imagine 7th century, as most of Europe continued its descent into long period of intellectual dormancy. Brothers, this is getting technical, but this is a good book. Civilization that stretched from Spain to China, the golden rays of discovery and invention shone over everything. So guys, this is a book. Everybody deserves a chance to change their behavior through help from the appropriate services, and everybody deserves a chance to learn from their mistakes. This is a message from one of our listeners. Similarly, we need to support offenders, ex-offenders, rather than point fingers and make them feel isolated, as this may indeed lead them to re-offend. Being a victim of crime is unfortunate, but it is how we deal with this which can make a positive change. These are words of wisdom. My producer, even he's nodding his head that this is a word of wisdom. So if you can put that screen back on for the messages, then we can read up some more messages, right? An excellent national initiative to get faith communities get involved with ex-offenders. Of course, some of you on a Saturday don't want to talk about this kind of a topic, but don't live in fear. Face everything in this world, in this planet, right? You see the excitement in all of you when the brothers started talking about the Ambala products, and you woke up. So, of course, here we say, don't live in fear. ZED is here. That's what they say. Don't live in fear. ZED is here. That is in the studio. This is what they say. Don't live in fear. ZED is here. They always make fun of me here in the studio, but you know, I just allow them to get away with it. So no problem. I give it as good as I get after the program. I'll fix them, I'll sort them out. Ramadan special on EAVA 102.5 FM. So we've got two brothers who've joined us. One of them in fact told me that, look, I don't want to be seen here on the Facebook. The reason, I said, why not? He says, look, too many proposals come for me. And Anna says, no, not a single proposal comes from me. I'm on the Facebook every day, and not a single one. What am I doing wrong? I got to put I got to put my glasses back on again. So anyway, a little bit of light banter won't go amiss. It's all part of professional broadcasting. That's what it's all about. So my brothers, please, the rules in the studio is that as you walk through the door, you close the door behind you. That's what we have to do. And then the rules of the studio. This is like a professional BBC studio. Everybody here has been trained by the BBC. So you got to be 32 millimeters away from the mic. If you're not 32 millimeters away, then your message will not be heard by the 7.8 billion people out there on this planet. MashaAllah. So the brother to my right here is brother.
Assalamu alaikum. Safraz. My name is Safraz. I'm from Darul Arqam, alhamdulillah.
Safraz is one of our walk-in guests. You know, we have this policy here at the studio that we allow walk-in guests. And to my left here is another brother who Safraz has come along with. And if you'd like to introduce yourself, please. 32 millimeters, remember, I'm very strict on that. In fact, I'm going to have to start bringing my tape measure to ensure that this 32 millimeter rule is kept intact.
Subhanallah.
So, carry on, brother.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Bilal. I'm currently the Imam at Darul Arqam.
So, alhamdulillah, he has a lot of experience of microphones. So, mashallah, he should know this rule.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
So,
Now,
mashallah.
we've sorted the microphones. I know brother is regularly doing some good recordings, isn't he?
Alhamdulillah, of course.
Yeah. So tell us about some of your recordings first, because these two guests, they are working with Darul Arqam and the very, very learned educational institute in Leicester. They're based near the Loughborough Road, aren't they?
Alhamdulillah, no, well, we are at 16 Thomaston Lane.
Thomaston Lane.
Behind Uppingham Road. Behind Uppingham Road, off of Humberston Drive. So, alhamdulillah, we head towards the golf course of Gypsy Lane. So, the corner of Gypsy Lane and Thurmaston Lane. So, and sorry, I'm sounding like a to Z dictionary there, sorry. But it's a corner of Humberston Lane and Thurmaston Lane and Gypsy Lane.
Humberston Drive.
Of course, these gentlemen are also assets in the community, right? On a Saturday morning, we have assets in the community program, and these guys, they do a lot of work out there. So big shout out for these gentlemen who are very active in the community, doing a lot of work. Safraz is regularly initiating many projects in Leicester, so the list is too long, isn't it?
Yeah, alhamdulillah, yes, I've been extremely busy for the last couple of years, from small things, bake-offs, to large world record attempts. So alhamdulillah, we've been quite busy for the last couple of years.
So of course, these are the unsung heroes in the community. They do work at the ground level, at the first rung of the ladder, right? And the gentleman we spoke to earlier, they've done all that in their time, and now they are sort of passing their knowledge to the younger guys in the community. So these guys are doing a wonderful job. And everything, brothers and sisters, is related to your time zone in life. Our time zones is split into 4 sectors: 0 to 25, 25 to, or 0 to 20, and then 20 to 40, and 40 to 60, and 60 to 80. Right? So in each time zone, we have to do our respective dues, don't we, Brother Bilal?
Yeah, that's right.
So, Brother Bilal, now we have 7 minutes and 7 seconds. I want you to tell the listeners what is going to happen here this afternoon in the studio.
I think I'll leave that to Safraz, what's going to happen for the whole day. But I'll just mention a few things that we do at Darul Arqam. Some of the courses that take place. We have regular courses taking place. We have, for the sisters, we have a coffee morning session every week. For the sisters, we have Quranic Arabic lessons.
Let's get on to what you have for the brothers. I'm a brother. I need to know.
So for the brothers, we have a 2-year diploma course. In there, we have Aqidah classes, Seerah classes. We have Quranic conversational Arabic, and we have the Quranic Arabic as well. Then we got the kids. We have a lot of stuff for the kids as well going on. We have arts and creative session. We have football sessions taking place, jiu-jitsu on a weekly basis. So these are just some of the things that go on a weekly basis.
Of course, that is wonderful community engagement, isn't it? And what I'd like to do is let's enjoin different communities to come and experience these sessions that you have. Right, so that this is what faith is all about, sharing faith.
Yeah.
You know, Zed, this is the beauty at Darul Arqam. We have a very mixed crowd from the community, or we celebrate the diversity within our society. And over the past year, we had people from all aspects and all sectors of the community coming along to the courses and participating in our fantastic spectrum. So alhamdulillah, I've not been at Darul Arqam for a long time. I've been there for 3 months, but what I've seen has been groundbreaking stuff, and I invite everybody to check it out. You can come along to the website for more information. It's datrust.org.
Of course, it is our duty in the community for all of us to enjoin with all organizations in Leicester. Each and every one of us should know about every single organization, and we should all engage together and work together in all the different initiatives, right, that we could enjoin our youngsters out there. So if every youngster's out there, we got to watch his back.
Yep.
And we should encourage each other, right, that look, put him in the right direction. So there are many youngsters out there who are not in the right direction. Who's going to put them right, Safraz?
Yeah, exactly. It's a duty, and if we have an expectation of our school teachers to have a care of duty for our children, right, that also falls upon us. Yeah, it shouldn't be just left to our teachers or social workers. As our elders who have gone through life experiences, we have to use our experience to direct our next generations. So it shouldn't be just left. We shouldn't be just leaving it to our next door neighbors or people down the street. It falls upon every single one of us.
Of course, this is a very important point that I'm putting through a lot of encouragement to parents that look, you got to do your capacity building at home for your children, especially in the informative years, right? And when we have so many single parents in our community, then there's a breakdown in family, breakdown in society, and it's endless, right? We need to address these issues attentively. Everybody here in the community is a stakeholder in that. We're all part of it. There's 3 of us here, and there's 2 people in the studio. All of them have to understand that in the informative years, if we don't fix a problem at home, then later on it's harder for us to deal with it, to cure the problem. Every day you deal with younger people, don't you? And you know, you've been through the rungs of the ladder.
Yeah, alhamdulillah, we've been there, had our own life experiences, seen it firsthand, how growing up in the society here in Leicester, and I myself grew up in Glasgow. So seen what community has to offer. My grandmother, who passed away, Allah Ta'ala Jannat Nasib Kare, a couple of weeks ago, a month ago, there are children in the community that aren't related to her that still argue that they were the favorite grandchild, that they got treated like a grandchild. And it makes me wonder that from our generation, from our younger generation, what children will say that? What children will turn around and say that a complete stranger was treated like a grandchild, where every child in that community was treated equally by a complete stranger, you know? So alhamdulillah, I might be baffling on, but people that know my grandmother will know what I'm talking about. Mashallah, she would see a complete stranger in the street, and she would treat that stranger like they were that person was their own child, or their own grandchild.
Of course, later on in some other programs, we shall be talking to Safraz Hussain in more detail for some of the wonderful work that he is doing in the community, and is one of those, what we call the soldiers, who is patrolling Leicester, and he knows.
I'm just a small man behind the scenes.
Well, there is many like him, of course. There's not only Safraz, there, you know yourself, a whole list of youngsters, and we should keep in touch with all of them.
Inshallah.
They're all assets in the community, brothers and sisters. You have been listening to Radio Ramadan special on EAVA 102.5 FM on the AIC program, Assets in the Community. We have 1 minute and 18 seconds to go, as you can see on the special egg timer from our producer. So Bilal, you need to give us some good nasiyah now. We're going to start the Darul Akram Pledge Day today. We want everybody to wake up, be ready for this Pledge Day, and be as enthusiastic as me. Now don't be mean. I want you to be generous today. Is that a good message to everybody in Leicester?
Yes, this is perfect. Short and sweet.
So I need you to add to that.
No, I'll be adding to that, definitely. Yes, so we want everyone obviously to tune in today. We've got a Pledge Day, and hopefully we've got a target, so we want to reach that target before we leave today.
Of course, brothers and sisters, these organizations, they need funds all of the time to continue the good work that they're doing. So it's our duty to support them. So I want all those surnames, I'm not going to mention them today because there are many that are on my list, right, that come to mind. If I go into them into alphabetical order, right, I have to jump from A, B, C. You know, the first one that comes, D, is obviously the Duckry family. Wake up, all of you. Jazakallah khair. We're going to be back after this break. We're going to come back maybe in another half hour's time. 1 o'clock they'll start the Pledge Day, yes?
Inshallah.
Jazakallah khair. 2 o'clock. 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock. Jazakallah khair. There you go. Thank you very much.